Alright, love. Welcome once again to another edition. Should that be a Chaos edition? Works on several levels. I don't know, like a Stairmaster. Yes, it's another game. Game 3. And we have a Chaos side. See, now back in the day, when I used to roll dice and play this, you didn't have anything nearly as fancy, if I remember rightly. Obviously, terms for the coin toss, as we have them. And kicking, as always, standard setup, as always. But I digress. Yes, the Chaos team back in the day was very simple, if I remember rightly. It was just Chaos Warriors and Beastmen. I'm not entirely sure if there's another team that is like that, as they seem to have split up the undead team into several different teams now, probably because they had too many creatures and such to fit into one team on its own. See, that's the thing, I was always a big fan of the werewolves. The miniatures were brilliant. And if I wanted to play or use them, I believe it came on like just a printed card. There was a werewolf player who always looked cracking, but I think you could only, I'm pretty certain you could only pick him for undead teams, and undead teams never really. There's no real running aspect to an undead team, obviously, as they're dead, and as we all know, all the best zombies shamble. They don't run. I'm not big on the recent phenomenon of them running. But anyway, yes, this is a fucking massive tangent there, but probably good, as I've got another half an hour to fill with drivel. But yes, so they've seemed to have added sort of cultists, so you've sort of got a human aspect. I suppose they're quite versatile in that respect, and they're also quite good at knocking people out and themselves, kind of. But yeah, as I say, I was never that. Chaos never really intrigued me either, so maybe you could get that giant winged fucker in your team previously. I don't know. It just seems like it's in the game, in this. Okay, that's fair enough. There's like it's the miniatures and everything. It doesn't matter so much. Everything still only takes up a square. But imagine trying to play a proper game of Blood Bowl with a miniature like that size with them wings. You think, it's just going to take up about 18 squares laying down. Obviously, first of all, you've got to put the bastard on his arse. Which isn't... Nah, I don't think I found it too tricky. I always think they're a double-edged sword, these huge bastards. That's why I don't pick a... what are they called? Rat Ogre. So, you know, on a Skaven team, a Rat Ogre would probably... Obviously not with the wings. But would be a similar size to that tall drink of water that I've just put on his back. But yeah, they've got the double-edged swords of skills that sort of make them not particularly useful. Either sort of wild animal, which I believe... I'm trying to remember what the dice roll is. I think, is it a 50-50? I think it seems to be about 50-50. So yeah, so the game has to roll a 4, 5 or 6 before you can even do anything with them, because they're that sort of unpredictable. But I'm sure... That's the thing, I'm sure I remember I had, or at least I made a team. Whether I actually played anyone with them, I don't know. But there was like some sort of almanac that came out that had Rat Ogres in, but you could get them... They still... I believe they had the skill that, well... if you can call it a skill, like the wild animal kind of unpredictable skill, but you could, there was an optional rule. Obviously you had to approve it with everyone in the league and your opponent and everything beforehand, but on a skill, when you roll for your skill upgrades, if you got a double, you could choose to lose a well, I don't know if it was any skill, but you could choose to lose a negative skill. So you could obviously just remove the wild animal, so you could effectively tame them, and then they seem to get a hell of a lot more useful. But then again, as I say, I don't recall ever. I've had them, painted them. I had 2 of the fuckers, I think, but I don't think I ever actually played any games with them, because I think all my friends had grown up by that point, and I was still still in the dreaming and dice rolling phase before I discovered saucy shenanigans that were real and not just in my head. Everyone reaches that point, I believe, where you discover the opposite sex, or indeed the same sex, whatever floats your boat, or neither sex, if that floats your boat. And suddenly things like this, maybe, I don't know if that's a cliche, but suddenly things like this seem a little bit less important, unless you can obviously find somebody that would indulge in shenanigans with you that enjoys the same things, and that's pretty rare. Obviously, in my case, as I may have mentioned, was that in the trailer? I think I mentioned previously a former G-friend referred to this as that nerd game, in trying to sort of teach her how to play it. But to be fair, fuck me, it's in depth. I don't really know what I'm doing now, to be honest. Never mind getting thrown in the deep end. I suppose I did sell it to her as a board game, and it's yes, it technically does involve a board, but it's a shitload more involved than Ludo, isn't it? Let's be honest. All kinds of shit going on. But yeah, as you say, it's tricky to get a handle on Chaos teams. So certainly before, I think the one or two that I played against, when it was, say, just Chaos Warriors and Beastmen, you sort of knew what you were getting. Like the Beastmen, I think pretty certain they all had horns, so they could all blitz with. Your strength goes up by 1 if you blitz with horns, obviously, because you're using them to nut the opposition. But yeah, the Chaos Warriors were quite strong too, so it was a case of, like, you know, much like the Orcs, you just sort of take a beating and hope for the best. But at least, I'm not entirely sure, but I think with the Cultists, with this team, or this new improved Chaos, I don't know, you do seem to get, you've got that little bit of flexibility that sort of a human player kind of gives you. I'm certainly not sure. I think, imagine these pit fighter fellas are kind of the blitzers, because they seem to have block. But then again, to say, everyone that you play on this, certainly in the computer terms, already has some advancements, so it's tricky for me to say. But so all I can really do is weather the storms. Again, say every team seems to pocket up, especially with, like, I never get it really. Like, certainly when I start, as you'll probably notice, whenever I've got the ball, it's like, well, bar another Skaven team, maybe elves, like, oh, you filthy bastards. Oh, well, never mind. Bar them, no one is really going to get to you in a single turn, so as long as you kind of secure the ball, you've got it in hand. There you go, blitz the gutter runner again, becoming something of a filthy habit, but it's not up to me to kick it. Yeah, as long as you've got the guy back and safe, you've got like a turn or two before they can break through to actually do something about it. So to me, it seems to make sense to keep everyone upfield, because they're the ones you're going to be passing to. It's just, I don't know whether it's just me, whether that's a flawed tactic and I'm being far too basic. I don't know. See, I balls this up. I want to blitz this guy in, and for some reason, yeah, you've got to declare it at the start of your move. You can't move, stop, and then like hit him at the last moment. So okay, so great. I've got to sort of waste the player's movement to correct my error. But still, there you go. You've got some pitch coverage. Ideally, I wouldn't want that gutter runner right on the edge of the pitch, where he can be pushed off into the grubby mitts of the crowd, but obviously there's not really anyone in a position to do so, so I don't feel too bad about it at this point. But yeah, this is what's random, because as I say, I think I covered it in the previous episode also, that I've absolutely no idea what my thoughts were. I'm pretty certain, I've got a vague memory that I was recording these sort of at Christmas time, and I don't know, part of me thinks I can't have left it that long to actually get these sorted, but maybe I did. Maybe I have. But I think I was probably, yeah, that was probably it. I was probably trying to clear up some other series before I would get another one, so a gap like that sort of makes sense. So there you go. So he's failed his wild animal. I don't know quite why it looks a little bit sort of Phantom of the Opera. I don't quite know why he's got half a gold face. But then I'm say that it all gets decidedly perverted. All the various Chaos factions, from what I remember from Warhammer Fantasy Battle, which they all kind of originated in. It does make you wonder about the writers and people that come up with all this kind of thing, because let's be honest, some of it's just downright upsetting. I remember, what was I playing? It wasn't Fantasy Battle. It was something. Maybe it was in like an ancient issue of White Dwarf, which is sort of the companion magazine for those that don't know. I don't even know if it's still going. I'm assuming it does. To Games Workshop products and that kind of things. They've got all the new shit in it and tutorials and all that kind of thing. I think it was in a really old issue of that a friend of mine had at the time, and it was so it was Chaos Warbands or something like that, and everything was like a random table, and you just generated kind of your team or your group. Like there was a random amount of people, of sort of I can't remember if you'd have cultists and warriors and beastmen and all that kind of shit, and everyone was sort of, you randomly rolled for their gear, and it was like a really small scale kind of battles. I think they could get bigger. This is a fucking dodgy move. What the hell am I doing here? You having a laugh? I get what you're doing, but shitting hell. Okay, nicely done. Yeah, and you could randomly roll for all you had to randomly roll for all your gear, and it was everything was just, obviously that sort of as befits Chaos, I guess. Everything was just so random. And again, rolled up a really interesting looking sort of team, and or not team, but like warband, as the name would suggest. And again, sort of set to with sort of trying to get the parts to make all these weird mutated fuckers, and never got around to playing the game. So yeah, so maybe, I don't know, seeing as they seem to be making computer games out of all their board games, maybe they'll go back and revisit that one. That could be quite fun. I think there's certainly opportunities for online shit there, because everything's random, small scale. I think that could go a treat. If anyone's watching this, I seriously doubt they are. And if they are, they've probably got their finger on the Sue button as opposed to the mute button. Oh, fucking done. No time for dad jokes. Not when. Oh, so you cheeky shit. What turn are we on? Are we going towards half time? Anytime there's a cheeky handoff like that, it makes me worried. Oh, look at you, you dirty fucker. Look at the horns on him. What is he? Shows how much attention I pay. I don't even know. Is that a beast man? It's got horns. Or is that one of their Khorne Herald? Okay, I'm assuming he's another one of them. I've absolutely no idea what they are. See, times move on. Times change, as does dice rolling. And I think that was one of the main reasons that I got pissed off with it. They're pretty much the Games Workshop seemed to be at the time, and I'm sure they still are. Very much the Electronic Arts of the dice rolling world. It did seem to be every 18 months or something. That it felt like sooner, God's sake. Like, no sooner had you learnt one set of rules and they brought out a new edition, and you had to buy. We didn't have to buy, I guess, but a new box set, and the rules were tweaked and all that kind of thing. You just think, oh, like, can't you just, I know every system needs to, like with computer games today, everything gets patched and everything gets kind of rebalanced as people play it and all that kind of thing. But it always sort of, to me, sort of smacked a bit of like not actually trusting your players to do, I don't know, to sort of have any sort of creativity themselves. I don't know. I'm sure the people that did all that kind of thing were quite happy coming up with their own homebrew shit and playing playing whatever they liked, whatever rules they liked. You know, they just took the rules as a suggestion and just tweaked it as they saw fit. But like, it's just, to me, from the outside, and certainly I'm sure for kids and anyone that was, oh, you dirty fucker. Oh man. Oh well, at least it's a lineman, I suppose, and nobody important. Sorry for listening. Pyro's Twitter. Chitter. Up the Barry Twitter. Yeah, sort of for any. You know, I generally was of the age where I had pocket money and sort of early jobs and things like that, where I could pay for my addiction myself. But where you think you've got kids that are slightly younger, that are, everything's sort of on the bank of mum and dad, you just think, fucking hell, like every 6 months, a year, 18 months, there's something new to buy because they absolutely have to have the new thing. You think, you're only really paying for a new rule book and a load of cardboard scenery, which is all it ever seemed to be. I've got a loft full of that shit. So yeah, anyone that wants to take any of that off my hands, feel free. You're more than welcome. Get in touch. Fuck's sake. Yes, and obviously, as aforementioned, I should really get stuck in and dig that shit out the loft. And I will. I can safely say we've got some bank holidays coming up. I'm sure there's... that's the sort of time you go mad on home improvements or having a tidy or a clear up or any and all of that kind of shit. So I'll dust the ladder off in the next few days and we'll see what's what. Ha-ha! Nice! It's what we like to see. And so obviously no, they're not doing... So that's the thing with... Ooh, what was I doing there? There's a dodge and a... Okay. So why did you not... Oh, I suppose if I'd have picked it... That, yeah, okay. But the ball on the floor there, seriously. Come on, me, from like 3 months ago. What the fuck are you playing at? Yeah, so yeah, I'll dust the ladder off and get up there, because it's, say, it's neither... How the fuck? Good, yeah. Good. I'm glad your luck didn't run there. Fuck me, that was what, like a 6? Pick that ball up? It's got to be something like that. Ugh. But yeah, now it's the case of... No, I can't. Did I score? I legitimately cannot remember. You think, now I've got the only person who's close is that gutter runner on the halfway line. I think he can make that if he goes for it. Up in the top there. Just sort of... Yeah, top middle. Oh, just when you need it. Oh, of course I do. Yeah, so... It's going to have to be him, isn't it? Looks like it. So, what's the fucking betting this gets intercepted? I legitimately cannot remember. Okay, go on, son. Oh, oh! Oh! Oh, fuck's sake. Oh well. Never mind, it was a long shot. Never mind. I'm not entirely sure if this is supposed to be a home game, because it's got our flags are fluttering and the S in the middle, but this looks a hell of a lot more like the Chaos stage than it does a Skaven stage. Like, we're sort of Coventry City style, or are we like, is this no, not Coventry. Did Coventry do a ground share? I think they did. They couldn't afford the Rico Arena. I'm pretty sure that was a thing. That or Palace in Wimbledon back in the day. Is this like the equivalent of Selhurst Park? Must be. Fucking useless. We get the benefit of the kickoff result and fail the catch. Never mind. No, I do not want to pass to him. Never mind. Right, so we managed to snuff somebody the last turn. Pretty sure. Don't know if we got 1 or 2. How the fuck have we got 5 rerolls? Okay, I'm not arguing. Shows how much attention I play. See, too much talking shit and not enough talking about the game. Although, how piercing my insight can be from 3 months ago. It's dubious. But yeah, so I think primarily, like that, the big fucker, he's not going to do a hell of a lot apart from hit you. Obviously, if he can blitz, I think that works out even better, because he's an absolute monster just from looking at his stats. But so obviously in the first half he did, you know, just south of fuck all. So if at all possible, trying to put him on his arse, but at the same time, it's putting him on his arse because he's a big. Oh, hello, he's a big bastard. I need to say, gang up rather considerably. So yeah, I'm assuming again I'm making some. Seeing as no one can actually get to my thrower, I'm using the furry bodies. Some sort of furry, wormy-tailed shield to side pocket up. There you go. It's terms I'm coining and using. We're doing that shit. Shimmy across. Yeah, we must. Yeah, I'm still. So well, so it's curious we're leaving them 3 in the middle, but there's absolutely bugger all I can do to them. Because with him and the, you know, hitting them, they're rolling the dice, or I'm rolling the dice and they're picking. So it's just not worth the risk at this point. But shitting hell, let's talk about all your marbles in. It's not marbles, is it? It's eggs in one basket. Well, you can put marbles in a basket if you really want. Yeah, so they look suspiciously like Beastmen, but they're clearly not. Okay, I wonder what team Beastmen are in then, unless they've got a team of their own. Or contract Beastman AIDS. See, well, it's just... Why? Why was that necessary? It's just endless... Put a gutter runner in a wide position, and maybe that's a tactic. Maybe that's something I should... legitimately employ, because it just seems to happen endlessly. Any kind of wide. Ooh. Ow. Okay. Any kind of wide movement, and they're in, straight in. Proverbial rat up the drain pipe. Oof. Just another man down, but let's say I'm just reserving him. Purely for the fact that there's against a team that is just designed to punch you, it's going to happen. There's going to be a casualty at some point. So, in that I mean a death. It's going to be something fucking, as the Orc game showed, with some of the last rolls of the dice. There can be a fatality. So yeah, I don't really. What the hell would I do at this point? I suppose you've got to block to get a few tackle zones off of. Yeah, it's the possibility. Oh, excellent! That'll do nicely. Let's have him over there. So yeah, you've got somebody. Yeah, is that got a runner there free? Excellent. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Once you've got a bit of space, manage your. Oh, what are you do? Are you gonna seriously? Okay. Oh. Perfect launch, excellent. I'm assuming that means you get a 6 for the throw. That's not bad. That'll do nicely. But of course, we've now got to turtle up for another what, 7 turns to because say if we score, then they're back kicking again, and obviously dicey. no pun intended. But my Kidian pun very much intended. So yeah, so as we're drastically Rasta in a Rasta style, with donning the hat, and abstaining from what is their main thing? I don't know if it's entirely a cliche for the weed, but is it? Do they not eat meat? I can't remember. I've always had Buddhists. I can't remember. Maybe it's both. I know they've got to have something because they do all the. Oh no, that's just Jamaican food, isn't it? You don't have to be. I'm stereotyping wildly. Surely you don't have to. Not every Jamaican is a Rastafarian or a Rasta. I'm not entirely sure what word they enjoy or would prefer. I'm pretty sure I remember. What was it? It was you're not allowed. Well, not allowed, but it isn't like it might have even been Rastafarians. Like that's not a term they appreciate. Or I'm talking out of my hat, my big woolly Rasta hat. See, this is the danger when you give me 30 minutes. 30 minutes to fill. Right, that'll do nicely. Give me 30 minutes to fill. God knows what you'll fucking get. Because as I say, there's plenty I could be talking about in terms of the game if I knew what I was doing. I certainly is. That's the thing. In the next batch, this is say sort of experimental. Maybe like with this is as it's some sort of could maybe work as a confidence boost or as a some sort of exercise to get myself more familiar with doing this kind of thing. I don't know, because I seem to be unable to sort of play this game and talk at the same time. Excellent, we'll take that. You can take that as well. A little cheeky back rub. Back rub. Excellent. No time like the present for a death, as I always say. But yes, as I say, I've in no way an expert, so I couldn't really tell you what I am actually doing. Apart from flinging bodies downfield, doing the same old shit each time. So, let's roll some dice, motherfucker. 5 rerolls, can't be bad. Got a tackle zone on that joker. Yeah, there's precious little else I can do. Looking at that, I'm not going to take. See, that's the beauty of the AI. Have one guy, like have your best option. Have like the guy that's got the most agility or a skill that might be handy. Bomb everyone else back upfield. Like, what does it serve you to have that many people just stood around doing fuck all? I just don't understand. And I don't think upping the difficulty would make any difference either. As I say, I think we're running dangerously low on players. Yeah, I just think the dice thing just changing the difficulty just means they fudge the dice rolls a little bit more in their favour. And I quite like my mouse, keyboard, desk, monitor. I don't want to be punching the fuck out of hardware for the sake of frustration, if at all possible. So yes, at least they're bombing a few people forward. That's something. It's just the thin furry line that stands between us. So it's just how they're gonna. Why would you? Oh, okay. I thought I'd confirm that. Why would you? Just going for it. See, that makes... Yeah, no, okay, I understand. It's sort of damage limitation, really. There's only so much you can actually do at this point. Oh! The dice come good. Anytime you can put a strength 4 player on his arse, minimal effort, cracking idea. And that's another thing with the benefit of the blitz, so that I do seem to forget sometimes, or I don't use it maybe as tactically as I can. But obviously, once you've blitzed, if you've got move left and don't have to dodge and all that kind of shit, you can still move again. Use up the move that you have, and that's as I did there. So obviously, I can hit, knock that prick on his backside, and then move to cover the other fella. I don't actually. Again, is that another herald? I don't know. I don't know quite why he's got a little cloak. Aesthetic is the only thing I can think of. So that seems to be popular these days. Again, stand up that brave soul. And as he's going to take another... Why? Yeah, all he's going to basically do is just stand there and get punched by the... punched by the bloodletter. Is he a bloodletter, or is that the little guys? I can... It's from dusty memories of long ago. He's made his dodge, but he's got to go the long way round, so that's always useful. All for a pushback. Not a push through though. I'm not too keen on those. Never get a horse in the back of the Volvo 440. Oh, See, you'd think you'd... What? I don't know why we... Oh, there's at least they're moving people up, I suppose. Why you would... Well, I suppose there's not really anyone closer to blitz, but you think my first priority would be blitzing the ball carrier. But, I don't know. If in doubt, just hit somebody, you might as well use a blitz. But yeah, you just think you're just leaving yourself open for this, especially where he's placed himself. You think the odds are good. He's going to get an ass kicking from the same 3 crowd members that always do the ass kicking, and then they just disappear. Excellent. Like, mind you, the human just jumped in the library, so excellent. Yeah, shimmying back. Some tackle zones around and about. See, we're getting there. I don't think they'll be able to... Can't quite remember if... Well, I'm assuming I win at this point. This is sort of dusty memories. I'm assuming I win at this point. So yeah, we've only got so many turns left, so... I don't think they could return it, bar an absolute stunner of a comeback. An extra time, Christ. Oh no, mind you, looking at the footage remaining. Spoilers, it didn't go to extra time. Excellent. But this is nice, it's this sort of fresh for me. Yeah, I didn't quite get it. Never mind, turnover means it's another turn closer to the end. Mercifully for all of us, I'm sure. Yeah, I really should do some research as to why he's some sort of phantom on the face, unless it's just completely random. Each one you buy has some different... Oof! Take that. Has some different apparel. I don't know. Like that guy with the cloak. Who knows? Maybe it's random chance. See them adorned thus. So it's getting fine now. How the fuck? Can I get rid of him? He's on his arse, so I haven't got to worry about him for a time. Okay. Excellent. That's alright, it's him down. That's the one thing that gets the perspective, I think. But that's the thing, if I were to edit that and make it completely top down, it's like, well, then you are literally playing the board game, kind of, and you've got no benefit of seeing all these wonderful characters that they've spent so long. People have spent a long time animating and lovingly crafting. So, what the fuck are you doing? Okay. Oh no, I suppose yeah. They're not really going to come round and that makes more sense. Yeah, they can't. See, and fucking naked arse boy changes his mind. So what are you going to do? You waiting for the desperate Hail Mary pass that he's not going to come? Huh. Excellent. See? It's the benefit of tackle zones. That's why you make them roll. This prick on his... okay. Ah, excellent. Oh yeah, because I've got re-rolls up the wazoo. I might as well use them. Excellent. How many players have they actually got at this point? 1, 2, 3. Big guy. What? The cowardly chicken shits down the bottom? Must be. It's been brutal, but luckily nobody as yet has died, so that is always a bonus. That's a spare 50 grand in my ratty skyrocket that I haven't got to worry about. Probably should stand that guy up. Oh. What are you doing? Oh, just stand him up. There we go. That'll do. That'll do, Rat. That'll do. Yeah, see? They just sort of... What's he... He's just moving to check his thong out. Check his seams are straight. Okay, fair enough. I get why you do that. Ooh, shit the bed. Oh! Okay. I'm assuming he had to go for it and failed his roll. Brilliant. Brilliant. Fantastic work. Hey, put you on your arse. Splendid. So there's precious little else to do. Run one in. No, don't throw it. What are you doing? Excellent. Boink. That's the one thing I do wish, that they put more animations in for Skaven scorers. So beyond that, Couldn't be happy. 1-0, and that's it. Nothing left of the game. Is it literally just a kick-off and we're done? I have a feeling it might be. It's definitely my last turn, so I think it's just a case of organising the deck chairs on the Titanic. Oh shit, yeah, someone needs to do that. That'll do. Fuck it. Whatever. Capoeira kick-off. 3 re-rolls we're never going to use. Oh, god damn it. So yeah, last turn. We've got no hope of scoring. Are they going to blitz a gutter runner? Oh, it's a cliche because it's true. Oh. Yeah, we'll just take the pushback, thanks. You shitter. And then we'll take that one. Cheers. Game over. Oh, it's nice. Excellent. So that's, I believe, that's the group stage over with. We'll re-roll that. Get a bit more dosh. At least the fan factor hasn't gone down. That's good. Probably because we won. I think that somehow makes a difference. I'm not sure. But yeah, 5-0. Is it 5 now? Sure it's 5. Sure I started with 3. So yeah, we've got some advancements to take. Who have we got? Oh, excellent. Gutter runner. That's what we need. And what did you get? Oh, were you having a laugh? Yeah, you've got. That's the thing with that. That's good because it means I've got a 1-turn scorer now. If I remember rightly, you can do set him up on the goal line. And how's the thrower moved up one? Is he the thrower? Oh, excellent. Okay, fucking hell, nice. We'll take accurate. Gives us a +1 on all our throws. So I don't know. It's giving them extra goggles or something. They do look fucking badass, throwers. I'm not quite sure why they all have robot arms. I'm not entirely sure that fits with a... Fuck, he's injured. Okay, so he's not... How would you pronounce that? Pios? Pios? Pios. Oh, he's out with a smashed penis. So yeah, oh excellent. Fucking nice. So we've got the last 4. We've got to play those bastards again. Something tells me... well, I'll probably record that and regardless of the result, show it as highlights because fuck knows you don't want to see me playing the same team again. So yeah, here's the lads. Fresh from a kick-in. Hopefully we can dish out yet another one against these chaos fuck nuts. Toodles.